Hello there, woman beings, and welcome to another episode of the Woman Being Podcast. This is a very special episode because it is the classic Feminist Rage social media showdown. If you don't know what that is, it's because we just made it up.
Yes.
And we are going to tell you how this game works in a moment. But first, I have to tell you that my name is Emma, and I'm here joined today with my lovely co-hosts, who I'm always joined by, Kellyanne.
Hello, hello.
And Kelly.
Good afternoon.
And they are not only my co-hosts, but also my competitors today. We are going to look at things that infuriate us on social media, and we're going to talk about it, and we're also going to be head-to-head against one another about them. So,
and they may not infuriate us, but they may fuel...
Yes.
Feminist
They may fuel the fury.
rage.
Yes.
So, let's dive right in.
What?
This is Woman Being,
Where we explore thoughts and opinions.
And have the freedom to change our minds.
without expectation or judgment.
We will hold a safe space and support each other.
As we navigate together in the form of feminine.
Okay, ladies, we are here.
We are.
The Feminist Rage Social Media Showdown. Let me tell you how this is going to work. Each of us have scoured the interwebs, infinite as they are, and found items, assets, if you will. NFTs, maybe even. No, they're not NFTs, but those are media assets as well.
Don't rule it out. Don't rule it out. Anything could happen.
It could. Maybe this will become an NFT. I don't know how that works, but...
It could.
It could. And we are going to present the things that we have found. They may be from Instagram. They may be from Reddit. They may be from TikTok. They may be from, I don't know, MySpace, anywhere. All is available to us. And two of these lovely contestants that you see before you or that you hear before you.
Depending on whether you're listening.
Depending on whether you're listening or watching, which you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube, but you can also listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Amazon, Audible, and various other podcast platforms. So if you're not, which you are because you're listening to us right now, you should be subscribed, and you should also give us a review. Anyways, we're done with that. Back to the game.
We interrupt this programming for a brief message from our sponsors.
Please sponsor us, somebody. We will have two people who are presenting their piece of media and defending that piece of media in the ways that it fuels their feminist rage and the ways that it should fuel yours too. And the other remaining person will be the judge, the all-knowing, all-powerful, omniscient, omnipresent, and omnicron judge who is presiding over that round and determining who has won. What are the requirements to win, you might ask? There are none. Only the judge's personal perception. It may be that it made them particularly angry. It may be that it was particularly humorous. It may be that it really just, a person who argued it was particularly compelling. Anything the judge wants, the judge is God here. Mm-hmm. So
blatant favoritism.
Yes, blatant favoritism,
wow.
Which, I mean, if there's favoritism within our group, then we might have some issues.
Well, you guys just got to check out our episode, and we're not really strangers, but we just delve into all our inner thoughts and feelings towards each other. So,
Which brings up the question, though. Emma, do you have a favorite Kelly?
I plead the fifth. So that is the way that the game is going to work. Yeah. We are going to operate in a clockwise direction in terms of who is judging at that time. We have each gathered 3 items from the social media world. So it will be however many rounds it requires for us to get through all of those items. The math really confuses me on that. So we're not going to think about it, but it'll happen.
We're not worried.
And the winner of this will receive an all-expenses paid trip to the Woman Being Podcast studio. Where they can record with their fellow co-hosts an episode of the Woman Being Podcast. So ladies, the stakes are high, the prizes are big, and we are ready to dive right into this.
I can't wait.
Amazing. So who's starting?
Well, as the person who just explained all of this, I need to shut up. So I will be the judge.
Cool.
For the first round. Afterwards, Kelly will be judge, and then Kellyanne will be judge, and we will proceed as it goes.
Amazing.
And so,
as many rounds as are possible. Okay, let me think. I'm gonna pick. I gotta pick my first one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, ladies. We are at the edge of our seats.
I feel a lot of pressure. I'm like, oh, I hope what makes me mad makes you mad.
Oh, yeah. I got a good one to start us off with.
Okay.
I'm ready for this.
Kelly, present your piece of feminist rage media.
All right. I don't really know how we're going to present these, but I'm just going to sort of hold my phone out in front of you guys. And for anyone watching on video, we'll put it up on the video.
Yes.
And for anyone listening, we'll describe it to you. So this is an Instagram post of a tweet.
Okay.
And it says, from the Melanie Mary.
Oh, we're calling people out.
Well, we'll see them on the video.
Yeah, no, you're going to know. We're going to call people out.
Yeah, they posted it on social media. It's out there.
It's in the public eye. So this is hashtag unpopular opinion. Women who attempt to impregnate themselves with sperm from a discarded condom should be charged with sexual assault. That man didn't consent to the use of his sperm. That's why he wore a condom! ! Hashtag unpopular opinion. So I don't even know what's going on there, but I'm going to read this little
The
caption as well.
Yeah.
The Melanie Mary on Instagram and Twitter, you can follow her, said, whether or not the Drake rumor is true, I've been thinking about this a lot lately.
Is there some sort of, what is the Drake rumor?
I don't know.
Is it rumored that this happened to Drake?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm not familiar with this.
She says, to me, this is the equivalent of male rape. Any woman who does this without the consent of her sex partner should go to jail. It's not fair to try to create a financial windfall against a man's will. California just passed a law that makes it rape if a man removes the condom during sex without his partner's consent. This is just like that. Just an opinion from an attorney/comic.
I'm sorry, what? So the fact that she's a comic makes me wonder if this is all a joke.
Is this all a joke?
Is this a joke? Are we being trolled?
It's honestly, some of the things that I've looked at, I'm like, are they serious about this? It's hard to tell.
Okay.
It's hard to
However,
tell.
medically, this is very not complicated because outside of the body, sperm actually has to be kept at a certain temperature and it actually doesn't survive very long in a condom.
Here,
Discarded.
Let me help you out, Melanie Mary. Not very many people are going to find success trying to impregnate themselves with sperm from a discarded condom, I can assure you.
I just don't even.
Also, why would this happen?
Well, it sounds like they're implying that it would be to force them to take some sort of paternal responsibility, whether that's financially, having to pay child support, or something like that.
Right, but like, why?
And my question is, how does this equivocate
spite?
rape?
Yeah, how is that? How does
Where's
that?
the
here's the
body
thing.
violation here?
Yes, their body is not being violated. This sperm has exited their body. That's as if I said that my hairdresser sweeping my hair violently across the floor after they've cut it off is an assault to me and my head because my hair is being mistreated after it has left my body. Like, what?
Like someone takes your...
Or your toenail clippings.
Or your feces.
Yeah, literally.
Someone takes your puke
Yeah.
and they turn it into a drinkable potion.
That makes me want
Could
to
we
puke.
not say that ever again?
A potion? What
you throw
potions
up.
are you drinking?
You throw up, your dog
Are we
licks
in
it up.
Hogwarts?
Your dog is basically raping you in the mouth.
Yeah, your dog has now non-consensually made out with you.
Right. I just...
Anyways,
Interesting. How bizarre.
That is a bizarre one.
I thought that'd be fun to start out with. Kelly, I'm excited to see what you have. I mean, I don't think it's
right.
going to, like, top this one. But.
I mean,
We'll
that's
have to see.
fair.
We'll
We'll have to see. So,
Kellyanne, our next contestant, please present your piece of evidence to this cause of feminist rage.
okay. So this is actually... my husband helped me find this one. He loves to find funny, not funny, angering feminist things on Reddit. So this is a Reddit post.
Does he just like to see you enraged?
He's like, isn't this the worst? And I'm like, oh my God, it's the worst. He's like, yeah, I thought I was right. But this is a Reddit post from a woman named Mercedes S. Johnson. The original post was from Mercedes S. Johnson. Someone reposted it to Reddit and said, can anyone spot the contradiction? So it says, I just offered a candidate $85,000 a year for a job that had a budget of $130K. That's a lot of money.
Sounds nice.
Big discrepancy there. I offered her that because that's what she asked for. And I personally don't have the bandwidth to give lessons on salary negotiation. Here's the lesson, in all caps. Always ask for the salary you want, in quotation or in parentheses, deserve. No matter how large you think it might be. You never know how much money a company has to work with. And then hashtag be confident. And I have several issues with this. One being, she actually is saying, I'm actually not going to support a woman that thinks she deserves more. And you already had the budget cut out, so you actually could have offered her more money, but you chose not to for some reason because you didn't think she deserved it. Like
Because she didn't ask
she didn't ask for it. So
Interesting.
also, again, this is from a woman saying, I don't personally have the bandwidth to give lessons on salary negotiation. So this
Like, whatever happened to lifting women up?
exactly.
Lady?
Like, like, why? And, like, in a job interview, I understand that is very intimidating to ask for the money that you feel like you're worth. Even if it was like, well, you asked for $85K, I'm going to give you $100, but then you're still saving some money for a budget for the company or whatever. But, like, I don't understand why you would be so spiteful about, like, I don't have time to teach you how to negotiate. I'm like, well, it sounds like it wasn't a negotiation.
Well,
because-
clearly, Mercedes, you had time to make a Reddit post about it.
I think that's
Exactly.
a contradiction.
Exactly. And so, anyway, Mercedes S. Johnson, I hope that you gave that woman the raise that you budgeted for. So,
Yeah, I agree with that.
How bizarre.
I
know.
wanted to follow up on the Drake thing. There apparently was a model who tried to impregnate herself with his sperm, and she accused him of putting hot sauce in the condom in order to kill the sperm.
Putting hot sauce in the condom, is that pre or post coitus?
This is accused. I don't know if this is true, but according to an Instagram post, this model had a raunchy session with this guy, with Drake. But things got weird after she apparently tried to put the sperm from the open end of the condom in her vagina after he had trashed it in the bin. Ew. Reports claim that the model got furious after she got to know that Drake had reportedly filled the condom with hot sauce. Ouch. It is also being rumored that Drake confessed his stunt after he had rushed to the bathroom to dispose of the condom. The hip-hop legend also seemingly reverted to the controversy with the help of a cryptic Instagram post.
So he admitted to putting hot sauce in the condom?
Well,
Or to throwing the condom out, which is what you do with a condom.
allegedly, it seems like he maybe said something that makes people think that he's admitting to putting hot sauce in his condom.
But, like, who cares? Do whatever you want with your
Yeah.
condom, I guess.
I mean,
like,
honestly-
Why would you sue someone for putting hot sauce in their condom?
yeah.
Well, because she's like, how dare he? I wanted to,
Like, mother a child
yeah,
from
which
him?
is wild. But, like, her actions, bizarre as they are, I don't think are rape of
No.
Drake.
No, that was not rape.
Yeah.
And putting hot sauce in a condom is not a suable offense.
No, all parties are ridiculous in
This
this
is
moment.
just, is this real life? This is celebrity culture life. So I just
It
want to follow
apparently
up on that.
is.
Apparently there's a thing. Do your own research. Again, this
Yeah.
is the one article I checked live on a podcast, so there's probably more to the story.
Yeah. I feel like,
So.
P.S., I have not fact-checked anything I'm going to say today. So,
Well, this is social media.
With-
so
This is not about fact checking. This is
Yeah.
about showdowns. I'm here
Yes.
to win.
that's true.
So
I can spew all the misinformation and falsities I want to as long as I freaking win, I'll tell you. All right, so we have Drake condom scandal is rape versus a woman not asking for what she's worth, quote unquote, and other woman putting her down.
And shaming her for it.
And not having time to give a lesson when she did have time to literally give a lesson on social media.
Cry about it.
Yeah, interesting. So we have some tough competitors here. Are you ladies ready?
I'm ready.
for my verdict?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to have to go with, drum roll please, except maybe don't because it's not good for audio.
Bad
We'll put it on like as a
That's
sound
my
effect.
drum roll.
Is there a sound effect on there?
Oh, maybe we will. I don't know if I will do that.
We'll fix it in post.
Okay. You might lose some points for saying that. Because I have to fix it in post. The winner of this round, and this round only, is the Drake condom scandal.
I accept this honor. Thank you so much. I just want to thank my mom.
All right, cut the speeches. We don't have time for that.
Just moving right along.
Cool. Well, I think it's my turn to judge now, as
that
I
it
am
is.
clockwise next
Yes,
to you
that
on
is
the
the way
table.
clocks go.
Yes. The clock had to go like half an hour to get to
Yes.
me. But here I am, and I would like to know who's up first.
Who's up first? Kellyanne, you should go first since you went second in the last round.
Amazing. So mine is an educational post from Birth Uprising, which is Dr. Sarah, who is a MSDC birth educationer. Yep.
Educator.
Thank you. So she posted this post, and it made me really upset. And it says, creepy dudes from the 1600s are why you give birth on your back. It's true. Once in every while, I like to reshare this post to make sure you've all seen it. Lying on your back to give birth closes down your pelvis and almost always increases pain. So why is this the most commonly used position for the birth in the world today? At a time when only women attended births, it's reported that King Louis insisted on watching his offspring be born. He didn't like the obstructed view caused by a birth stool, most common position at the time. So he insisted on his wife or mistress giving birth on her back with her legs in stirrups. Once word got out that this is how royalty gave birth, the new position began to gain popularity. At the same time, the French doctor who treated pregnancy as a pathology, which continues today, thought women would breathe more easily and have reduced pain when lying in bed for birth. His view of pregnancy as a disease had a hand in the change from midwife-attended birth to the preliminary surgeon-attended birth, and that is what we see today. Though this position is usually the worst option for the woman giving birth, it is still the easiest and most quote-unquote comfortable for those attending the birth. The doctor, midwife, nurse can simply sit on a stool and have a perfect visual, which is a good part of why it is still practiced today. So some dude was like, I actually want to watch my offspring be brought into the world. And I actually don't care if that's worse or more dangerous or more painful for the woman whom I have impregnated. That doesn't matter if it's worse for her, because actually I want to watch my offspring be brought into the world versus a birthing stool, which is very common.
It's not now.
Well, it's not now. It was very common. It's still practiced, and it is still very successful because you have the ease of gravity helping you and your hips are open. Additional fact check me on this, but my sister was trained as a midwife, and she confirmed that actually when you are elevated in your hospital bed, it actually closes down your hips even more. So now we have a pandemic, if you will, of women giving births on their back when actually it increases pain, and it's not as helpful. And it's all because one dude was like, no, I want to watch.
Ew.
That's fascinating. It actually makes me think of, I have heard of, different birthing positions, and even I think like women giving birth on all fours as opposed
very
to
common.
back, like
Or used
being
to be very
forward
common.
is in some ways better. But I have been watching the show The Great. Have you guys watched this show?
No.
It's about Catherine the Great of Russia, but it's basically not true at all. The whole story. It's like a dark comedy satire. It's really fun and raunchy. But in this show, Catherine the Great gets pregnant, and this is a season 2 thing, so spoilers, I guess, if you if you don't know. But she's pregnant, and I just watched an episode where she was discussing with the doctor how she was going to give birth, and she has to give birth in one of the main rooms where they hold court in the royal palace. because there need to be spectators of her birth in order to confirm that it is, in fact, the royal baby that is coming out. And that it is not, because apparently in the show, which is 100% dark comedy satire, so I don't know how factual these things are, but it's an interesting tangent within this realm. Because in the show, they said that in Denmark, there was a queen that gave birth and the baby died after birth, and they like bought another baby to replace it, so they had the heir. And like then they found out somehow through circumstances that wasn't the true heir. So now all the births are public to ensure that the heir is correct in continuing the royal line.
How humiliating.
So, yes, like, and it's, yes, and in the show, Catherine the Great is like super feminist and amazing. And so she's like, what the heck? Like, why on earth did I have to do this?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. People were buying seats to watch her pregnancy in the show. Again, it is satire, but it is a great comment on that same vein.
It's kind of
not about the woman's comfort.
Right. It's not about the woman's comfort. It's not about even what's going to help her.
Right.
Like what's going to assist her in birth.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's better for the doctor, the nurse, the king at the time.
Yeah.
Well, and that's funny because truly culturally, when a woman, when a baby dies or when a woman dies during childbirth or whatever, it's often like put on her as she was the problem.
Yep.
And we have like literal practices that are like against a woman's success
Yes.
in giving birth. And she carries that burden
Yeah.
of doing it right.
I think it's like disgusting.
Horrendous.
Yeah. All right. Ready to continue to be enraged, ladies?
Yes, I'm ready,
Yes.
Emma.
So I have a TikTok for you, ladies, that I will just play out loud on here.
Ladies, what's the most blatantly sexist thing a man has said to you?
Buckle up, y'all. It's about to get fun. You need to know 2 things about me. 1, I have PCOS, so it gives me crippling periods that are horrible and hard to deal with. 2, I work in an industry where they discipline you by a point system. So one day I was fully and terribly illegally sent home, forced to go home, and pointed and suspended for being on my period, which is actually not the point of the story. I then went to my male HR rep about that and started explaining to him the situation. I was like, look, buddy, I should not have been sent home for something that I literally can't control. I didn't ask for this uterus. This is not my choice. I did not ask to have a period. And he stopped me and he goes, ma'am, your language is making me very uncomfortable. Could you just clean it up? And I sat and I panicked and I was like, was I swearing? Oh no, I know he doesn't like the F word. Like, we've discussed this. Like, what? No, I said the word period. I said the word, the properly medical term. And he told me I was not allowed to discuss the medical conundrum that was relevant to my HR case because it made him uncomfortable to hear.
First of all, PCOS is very serious, and I'm so sorry that
Yes.
her workplace does not support her.
Yes. But
That's super unfortunate. And then it's sad that that's not even the point of the story. The
yes,
point of the story is-
yes, that was what,
Yeah.
it's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
on the one hand, she's sent home wrongfully for being on her period, for being in pain.
Yeah.
Whereas it seems as though she was trying to work through that pain and carry on
Right.
throughout the day. And then is not allowed to say period during her HR meeting about this incident, that it is dirty. Like, this is, it's so frustrating. It's this idea.
This is the
that-
patriarchy at work, people.
Yes, that a period is something that's dirty, that's inappropriate, that is like vulgar somehow, which is a normal like process that women go through every single month for years and years and years and have for millennia. And yet you can't mention it in the workplace.
Yeah.
Like if I
In
were
HR.
Yes. If I were sick, I might, and for some reason had to go to HR about something where I was sick, I might say, I'm so sorry, I was like nauseous, I was throwing up, I couldn't come to work or something, you know?
I was
They
ill.
wouldn't say, oh, can you clean up your language? That's inappropriate. Like,
Oh my gosh. To which my response would be, okay, well, I need an HR rep who can handle it because
Yeah.
this is normal bodily functions of a human.
yes, it is.
I'm like, that's a really good lawsuit that they have on their hands. And
not without the ERA.
Yeah, I'm like literally like, this is why we need the ERA.
Check out our episode on the ERA coming to you soon. And also check out our episode on periods where we talk all about the silencing of the menstruation of women and how it's a problem.
Yes,
so,
great
just a little
episode,
plug
please. ERA episode probably is out by now. So
you should definitely watch
if it's
that
not,
one.
then
Listen,
it is about to be. Great episode
Read
with
the
Megan
transcript.
Shantz and Allison McKinney-Timms.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Both of those are excellent posts, and I am equally
Thank you. You're welcome, Judge.
infuriated on both ends of the spectrum. And how the heck am I going to decide? All right. My final ruling as it pertains to the ultimate showdown between Kellyanne and Emma, I choose Kellyanne.
Congratulations!
I feel like I just won American Idol. But no, yours was so good. It should have been you. No, it's me.
Congratulations,
You deserve
lady.
it. You worked hard to get here. I'm just happy to be competing against you.
I want to say congratulations to both of you because I think you both left it all out on the court and gave it your all.
Thank you.
We did.
It was a
We really
very
did.
tight race, so.
Yes.
Okay, I cannot wait to see, hear, read all the things that you have picked out for me. All right, so Emma, would you like to lead us in?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
I have another TikTok for you
Amazing.
because
Oh, you're the TikTok queen.
they're all from TikTok. Because that's just where I found some of the best things. So, this one, get ready to hear a man's perspective.
Oh boy,
Oh.
can't wait.
What is it truly like to be a man in today's society? What are the difficulties?
Let's see. There's no point in getting married anymore because divorce is basically incentivized. Why would an aging woman who's losing her sexual market value want to be with a man when she could just take his money? And his children. And his house. You can't be sexual at all to women anymore, or else you might get canceled. Everyone believes women when they make false rape allegations. And even if they're proven to be not true, your reputation is still damaged for life. A woman with buyer's remorse can basically just make false claims or exaggerated claims about you and you're damaged for life. Women want you to do and provide everything for them and change into whatever they want you to mold into, but don't want to change at all themselves. And society praises this. Women always talk about how they want a man above 6 feet, but when a man talks about how he wants a fit chick, he's body shaming. Nobody has our backs, not even our brothers. Men destroy men in the name of women because they white knight. We're completely disposable in today's society and nobody cares.
Poor man. What a difficult time for him.
Yeah, that
Divorce is incentivized as aging women without any sexual
market value.
value. Just exploit men for their money and for their houses and their children. Their children, not the women's children, the man's children.
I'm definitely married to my husband that makes less money than me to take his house. That's definitely what I'm doing.
And a man cannot be sexual towards a woman or he'll be canceled. More like, I can't sexually assault women freely anymore.
Well, here's the thing.
Boo-hoo.
Nowadays, women can't even impregnate themselves with a man's condom. So, yeah.
So think of their plight.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the struggle?
Exactly.
Society's just going downhill these days.
This is like a beautiful example of men, like the meninist.
Yes.
Like, I'm a nice guy rhetoric that comes out of these like privileged predominantly white male spaces. And it is so infuriating. There's so many of his points. He's like, oh, and our brothers won't even stand up for us because they want to be a white knight for these women.
Untrue. Women everywhere are fighting against the good old boys club every day.
Yes, there's so many men that are there for other men. That's why we see more men represented in government. That's why the Equal Rights Amendment has not been passed. Like, it's wild that this would be this is his perception of the world. It is so skewed.
Yeah. And I think it's unfortunately corroborated by a lot of other men and a lot of other like ideologies and mindsets that, for whatever reason, feel that men have been pushed to the edge of society and not given a true platform. And it's just like, take a look around. Who are the CEOs, dude?
Yeah.
Like, who are the politicians?
Who are the doctors?
Who are the doctors? Who are the
people
ones
in power?
Who are determining how women give birth.
who owns the majority of wealth?
Yeah.
It's just like complete bullshit.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
It's like, not every man has a perfect life because he's a man, but
Yeah.
you have privilege attached to your
Yes.
existence that you have to recognize.
And I think it's closely linked to that male fear of losing privilege as others gain privilege. And
I can't make jokes anymore.
yeah,
A man
like,
can't.
it's like maybe you should have been making those jokes because they harmed people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, have you thought of that?
It's like they weren't innocent before.
Yeah.
You realize that, right? Like,
Right.
you putting your hand on the small of a woman's back is not or has ever been okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And divorce is incentivized. Like,
No.
I can assure you, basically all the women in my family have been divorced multiple times, and there is no part of them that said, I went and set out hoping to get a divorce because this was going to be good for me. They got divorces because they had abusive husbands. They got divorces because of sexual impropriety in their marriage. Like, they got divorces because things weren't working, but they did not want divorce when they set out to be in a relationship.
No.
Like, how insensitive.
Also, divorce is really expensive
It
and
is.
like emotionally taxing.
Trust
Yes,
And-
my mom did not technically divorce from my brother's dad for a decade because of the expenses attached to it.
Yeah.
She did not want to pay into that, even though they were separated.
There's
Yeah.
like literally a divorce industry. Like,
Yeah.
people, anyways.
It is a
My-
money-making industry.
That's
My sister
annoying.
actually got divorced, and she like has no money, and
Yeah.
she did not care because she was like, I just have to get out. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm paying this off forever.
Yes.
Like, no, like women are in bad situations and they're running away from those bad situations.
Yeah, how about we take a look at the domestic abuse stats instead?
Yes.
Like,
And who's doing the domestic abuse?
Yeah.
Predominantly men.
Yeah.
what I was going to say to this guy is, I'll tell you why there's not women who want to marry you because you're such an asshole.
Yeah. I'm like,
That's your problem.
I
It
mean,
has
maybe he is married.
It has
I don't
nothing
know.
to do with
Maybe.
feminism. It has everything to do with your like
Yeah.
messed up situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost like, let's sit down and get a coffee and let's get to the root of your real fears.
Do you want to therapize him?
I mean, I am not a therapist, but sometimes when people make so little sense, I'm like,
Kelly's like, let me fix you.
no, I have no desire to fix you.
Which he also says that.
I think you should fix yourself.
Yeah, he says, women want us to change in every way, but they won't change themselves. And it's like, what? Like, I mean, a marriage, a relationship is compromising and adapting
requires
with one another.
standards.
Yes, but like,
Also, yes, we want you to change. You can't spend all your weekend drinking beer, watching football, and not
your
communicating.
life changes when you decide to share it with somebody else. Yes. And then he also talks about how women come forward with false sexual assault claims, which statistically
Untrue.
is unfounded. There
Simply
is such
not
a
factual.
small, like, indiscriminate percentage of false sexual assault charges that have come forward that this is just like a null argument.
Also, do you want to talk about man's reputations being destroyed? No.
yeah.
Coming
women's
forward,
reputations get destroyed
like
when
trash.
they come forward about being
have
sexually
you
assaulted.
seen people go through, like, did you see what happened to Dr. Christine Blasey Ford and
Yeah.
Monica Lewinsky and all the people who came up against Bill
Right.
Cosby? Like, it is
Yeah.
not a fun
It's
time.
not pretty.
No, absolutely not.
So-
Anyways, there's a lot to dissect within that.
Ah, okay.
But he, a real gem. Just is what he is.
Just like, wow.
Just a nice guy.
Yeah.
Trying to
Such a nice
understand
guy.
the
With
world.
lots of feelings.
I have a lot of feelings.
All right. Well, this will be interesting. This is actually a cartoon.
Oh, I'm ready.
It's a cartoon, and it kind of, I think, maybe puts a little cherry on top of the discussion we just had.
Ooh,
Maybe.
love a
I
cherry.
I love cherries. Those are good.
And here it is. It is a cartoon of a man sitting across the table from a woman. He appears to be white, male, straight. She appears to be a woman of color. Mm-hmm. And it says, "Let me interrupt your expertise with my confidence." And he's speaking to her.
Yes. Whew, that is. There's so.
I'm like, oh, I experienced the salon.
Yes. It is infuriating. Mansplaining is one of the most irritating phenomenons that could happen to a woman in the workplace or in, basically
Life.
any scenario. I hate it.
And this is the thing I just can't understand is like, I've been taught my whole life from men to be humble, to look deeper into things, to ask questions, to consult people who are smarter than me. All basic principles of life. And then you walk into the workplace, you walk into the church, the grocery store. I don't know, I don't have a lot of random conversations with men at the grocery store, except for at Trader Joe's. They're very nice.
They're very nice.
And I can be like, as a woman, my perspective is, and I'm literally ramming my face into a wall
Yeah.
with like nails poking through and like fire.
You know what's really fun sometimes?
It's a danger zone to be smart.
You should try it out. Mansplain back to someone that is mansplaining to you. It's really
Just
fun
mansplain.
to
The
see
mansplanation.
to just see how they react emotionally.
Yeah, I often respond with, "Oh yeah, I know." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yes,
you can
yes.
stop.
That-
I've done that multiple times."
That is how you replace a
When
tire.
men
I've
have
taken care of my own tires.
All right, Kelly, I want to see an example of this, though. So, like, let's say I'm mansplaining to you. For example, the fact that, we're in this podcast and I just want you to know that you need to, communicate clearly on a podcast. That's typically what...
Well, it's really interesting that you bring that up about podcasting because experts actually say that in podcasting you should really communicate and enunciate your words. And so, yeah, you really need to lean in close and take a deep breath and just give that a try.
Just give that a try. I like that
That's
you brought
amazing.
in experts because I
Experts,
think that
myself,
that
says-
implies that you have
Done the
prior
work.
knowledge and research about it. So it's like, oh yes, I can actually reference this study from blah 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 that proves exactly what
but
you
it's
said.
also infuriating that you would need to say that, experts,
Yes.
because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
essentially having to say there's an outside source that corroborates what I'm saying, and not as a person who's been podcasting for 2 years. This is
No, that's
obviously
good.
a
That's good.
continuation of the example.
Yeah.
I have the expertise needed to actually communicate about this way more intelligently than you.
Yeah.
But this whole idea of let me back up what I already know is true with a pretend
That's a good point.
external, probably male
That's a really
voice
good
of
point.
wisdom
Yeah.
to
'Cause my
prove to you
goal-
that I am indeed educated.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point because my goal is I'm going to trump you with your personal
Yeah.
opinion with my educated opinion.
Yeah, I think I like the expert thing, not because it brings in somebody else, but it shows that you have been in that world already. Like you're like, oh, I've read the articles, I've watched the videos,
Yeah.
I've done been part of the studies or whatever. This is something I had prior knowledge about,
Yeah.
and you're explaining it to me, and you're an idiot because I actually already know about this.
I think that's what's so interesting to me about mansplaining is the confidence normally does end with a you should do. It's like a call to action or an action item of just there you go, you're welcome. And I'm just I don't need you,
no, thank you.
to give me an action item or a to-do list because of your opinion.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
Woo,
Kellyanne.
ladies. Some good
We're
ones.
fueled up
Some
here.
good
We're
ones.
fueled
Some
up.
good ones. I like it. I like where
The
we're
rage
heading.
is increasing moment by moment.
I do have to say though, I'm gonna give this one to Miss Emma because it was so many just wrapped up. And
Thank you.
But you know what,
Thank
Kelly,
you.
that was a good one because we all know exactly what that is.
Yes, we have. It is a tough competition out here today, ladies, and
It's
I'm
heating
happy to
up.
be part of it with you.
Emma, I am just honored to have been able to compete against someone so talented as you.
Yeah, well, you probably should because experts say
Thank
that when
you.
you compete against someone is,
Definitely when
formidable
you
as
said
I.
mansplain to someone mansplaining to you, I thought you meant someone mansplains to you and then you're like, have you ever heard of mansplaining? Let me explain it to
I
you.
have
That's
said
what I was
that.
expecting.
I have been known to say that once or twice. It's just wow, thanks for that mansplanation.
It's amazing.
And
That'll shut someone
they'll
right
just go
down. You're like, what?
And I'm just like, yeah, that's what you were doing. You're explaining a very elementary concept to me, someone who's been in the workplace for a long time.
And here's the segment that we call Womansplanation. And I want you to know, the woman beings and the men beings who are out there listening, because
16% of you.
You probably care about us for whatever reason and are probably somewhat affiliated, otherwise you wouldn't be listening. Or you're trolling. I want you to know that mansplaining is a concept where men, full of confidence in the world that they have been entitled to own and gain from, tell women about things that women already know about or honestly sometimes know more about.
And they do not ask.
And they don't ask and they don't inquire. They just assume that they and their unsolicited opinion is needed and wanted in the workplace or really anywhere. And that, men beings, is your womansplanation.
Thank you for that womansplanation.
They choose to grace us with their infinite knowledge and opinion.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know how I went my whole life without that.
We're so lucky to have them.
So I'm just not very smart, so it's always nice when a smart guy tells me stuff.
Explain it to me.
Okay, so it is my turn to judge, and as you probably gathered from the top of the episode, we don't really know how this is working in terms of logistics, and we realized that we all have one piece of media left, and so we need to do all three of us against one another. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a head-to-head-to-head final death finish in which that one victor will take the prize, and the rules of this new part of the game are that we will each vote at the end on whose we think should win, and you cannot vote for yourself.
Dun dun.
Ooh. So one hopefully will come out as a victor, and if not, I don't know what we'll do.
If not,
chaos,
rock, paper, scissors.
Think about maybe all women win. When all women win.
Almost like if we pass the ERA.
Wow.
When women win, other women win.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
Wow.
A more equitable and just society for all.
Only one could dream.
All right, so all that to say, let's present our pieces of media for the final death round.
All right, I'm going to start because I picked mine. I had some options and I wasn't sure which one to pick, and I think this one is going to just be a good addition to our conversation today.
Love it.
And so this, people, is an image of a man and woman kissing, I don't know, in some location. And it says, "Be so much of a man that your woman has no reason to sound like your mother." Oh. This is from Thicken the Frame on Instagram. So shout out to Thicken the Frame.
Wow.
That's incredibly sexist.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's pulling on the trope of the nagging wife.
Yes.
Who turns into your mother, which, here's the thing. I think that the reason why many women are perceived as, quote unquote, turning into the mother is because they marry immature, irresponsible men that have relied on their mothers their entire life to do everything for them and don't know how to provide for themselves now. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to do their own laundry, how to wash their dishes, how to cook their dinner, etc. And that's why when they marry a woman that actually reminds them of their mother and then can do all those things for them and become their new mother, essentially, their new caretaker. And that's on them. That's not on those women.
Yeah.
Also, the horrific representation of mothers as a negative
Yeah.
thing in your life, that's very toxic.
This woman that sacrificed everything for you to raise you and give you everything? Yeah.
Yeah. That wrecked her body for you to come into the world.
Literally.
That sacrificed much in order to raise you and give you a nurtured and loving childhood, hopefully, presumably, obviously. That's not always the case,
Yeah,
but
I
still.
just wanted to take a moment and recognize that some people have abusive mothers, and for that, we're
so
very sorry.
Can we also say, address the fact that this idea of, as a man, you should take up so much space that your woman doesn't have space to be what you don't want her to be?
Ooh.
I actually take great issue with these phrases that start with "be so much of a man." Mm-hmm. I'm like, how about just be you and give your partner space to be them?
And the other thing that infuriates me about this post is, yet again, using a female, like, trope as an insult.
Yeah.
Like, the role of mother. Like, being a mother is somehow a bad thing.
Yeah.
And, like, women are something you can
That's the thing.
hurl as an insult.
Which is, like, often the case, right? Like, throw like a girl. You're being a pussy. Like,
What a bitch.
yeah, these are women being compared to women is often a negative thing. It's like if you act feminine, if you whatever.
You're considered weaker, you're considered, like, not
and
as positive.
The
and so-
idea of womanly stereotypes is
Yeah.
bad.
It's like,
Yeah.
I hope I sound like my mother. My mother's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kellyanne, do you have one?
I sure do.
Give it to
Now
us.
this, to
Lay it
me-
on us.
This is the best one.
Oh, wow.
in my
She saved the
opinion.
best for last.
I sure did.
I feel like I already used my best.
So
but it's
this
okay.
this is a video
Yeah.
from Justin Baldoni.
Doesn't really matter.
Shout out to Justin
he
Baldoni.
is very well known, loved, with 3 million followers. So his rant is basically about abortion rights. So we're gonna get there. We're gonna wait. How do I pause?
This is an actor from Jane the Virgin.
How do I pause this shit?
I just heard that the government can now decide what a woman can and can't do with her body. But it's like not at all about women, right? It's not about women, it's about life. Okay, so does that mean that the government can now decide what us men can and can't do with our bodies? It's not about women. I have an idea. What if every unmarried man had to get a mandatory reversible vasectomy? I mean, I got one. It's a lot easier than having my wife on birth control. And I can tell you that it is 100% effective at preventing births. And the best part is that I get to have all of the unprotected sex I want to have with my wife, with her consent, of course, without any of the consequences. You in, fellas? Or is it your body, your choice?
So what I would like to say to this is that it is not 100% medically accurate. However,
Effective.
yeah.
It's not 100%.
It's not 100%.
What he said is not
accurate.
accurate.
So there are people that get
You can still get
vasectomies
pregnant
and you can.
after a vasectomy.
However, the
has happened on the dam.
concept of male responsibility for their own sperm, I think, is a very important one. And if we are like, wherever you fall on the abortion side of conversation, that's fine. But the idea that as a man, he has very little to no responsibility, and the woman has to deal with whatever happens. I think there needs to be a lot more education. I think there needs to be a lot more pulling in of men into this process, whether it is condom, reversible vasectomy, whatever. I think it's very important that we realize that there are two people that contribute to the situation and one person that's actually responsible in the end.
Honestly, I'm confused by this post, so feel free to womansplain it to me if needed.
I'll womansplain it to you.
And wink. I like can't tell if he is for or against abortions from this. And it sounds like he's saying that maybe the responsibility should be on the men to get, because he said like mandatory
I think what he's
reversible
saying,
vasectomies.
I think what he's saying is that men are not lining up to get reversible vasectomies for the purpose of preventing pregnancy. And so, but that's because the government protects their choice to do that. And so he's saying, men, if you're really about like
Pro-life.
pro-life.
So then he's pro-choice?
I think it's
I'm honestly
confused.
like I'm very his like I couldn't tell what was like if he was trying to be satirical or if he was legitimately proposing, like it was. And I've never like looked at his posts, so I don't know what he's like in terms of.
He's saying the government is telling women they can't have abortions, which is essentially, from his perspective, the government overreaching into a woman's choice to do what they want with their body. And he's saying if you're cool with the government being able to tell you what to do with your body, they should also be able to tell you to get a reversible vasectomy in order to prevent pregnancy so that women don't have to get abortions. I think that was...
Gotcha.
And it's not necessarily pro or against abortion. The point is...
Government overreach, essentially.
Well, government overreach, and also, like, this actually isn't something that affects you, and you're not doing something about it.
He's pointing out a double standard. He's like, you can't just sit and point fingers at women for choosing abortions when you actually are yourself unwilling to create legislation that prevents you from being able to impregnate people unwantedly.
So it still seems... Because it seems like in your explanations, you've said he's both pro-choice and pro-life from different ways that you've explained
I'm not saying he's pro-life. I think he's pro-choice. I think he's saying women should have the choice. And he's saying men who don't want women to have the choice...
You should get a vasectomy.
They should get a vasectomy.
Which, honestly, I'm not opposed.
It's like, if you don't want women to have a choice, then you don't get a choice. You get a vasectomy. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Which is actually fascinating because the government actually does mandate a lot of things that we do with our bodies. And so, like, I think that it's an interesting argument in general because, like, the government actually does mandate things like vaccinations in order to get into different schools or things like sex work or, like, the government has a lot of say about bodies in that sense. Public nudity, like, there's all sorts of things that you can't do with your body without having some sort of legal ramification or social ramification. So, like...
But in terms of, like, health decisions ought to be between you and your doctor, I think that's... I mean, obviously the government sometimes has opinions about your health decisions.
For sure.
And depending on what you may or may think,
Yeah.
those can be good or bad. But, yeah, I think the point being that men have tended toward having a lot to say about abortion, which is actually a women's issue. And they want to allow the government to have a specific... overreach in that area, and if they're cool with that kind of overreach in that area, they should be cool with that overreach affecting them as well.
Yeah, so it made me kind of go in a tailspin a little bit and, like, just thinking about men's responsibility in this and like the fact that we need to pass legislation that says if you remove a condom during sex without your partner's consent, like... That's
which
now
California has done.
Right. But, like, the idea that we need that is, like, you know, like, wow, that just speaks to the mentality of men. And, well, not all men, obviously. My man is great and amazing and kind and always follows consent. But, you know, like, the idea that you get to have such a strong opinion and make a choice. And it's like, well, where's your choice?
Yeah.
Tell me about what you are doing to prevent this.
Yeah. Which actually also, speaking of consent, as you just brought up, and we've brought it up a couple times now with the Drake condom scandal, etc., we are doing an episode about consent soon. So, women beings, give us your input. What are your thoughts on consent? We would love to hear from you, you know? If you guys have anything you want us to touch on when it comes to consent.
We want to know what the people want to know.
Exactly.
In other words.
And then we will give the people who want those things the things that they want. And then they won't want them any longer because we'll have given them what they want.
They will
Isn't
be
that right?
satisfied by receiving what they have wanted.
And consented
and asked
to.
for.
Okay, so
Consent will be had.
weird rabbit trail.
And consent will be had.
So, onto my piece of media and the final piece of media for this episode that will crown the ultimate woman being amongst the three of us.
Wow. I'm just looking forward to
decided
that
that
all
was it.
expense paid trip. That's
Can't
Yeah,
wait.
that's a sweet deal, really. Can't get that anywhere else. So this one is actually a TikTok from the same trend that my first TikTok was from, but a different person's response. So, but it was so good that I had to include this trend twice because it was a great response.
Let's hear it.
So,
Oh, boy.
Ladies, what's the most blatantly sexist thing a man has said?
I have so many stories. So I work as an executive director of marketing at my job. A guy who is friends with my boss comes in and he wants me to use his company for photo and video assets. But we already had a company, so I wasn't interested, but I took the meeting anyways. So he walks into my office. As soon as we get introduced and my boss walks out, he says, "Wow, you're young. Who'd you have to sleep with to get this big of office?"
Oh.
So that one's, short, sweet, and to the point, but also, infuriating. The idea that she needed to sleep her way to the top and not just be, a competent human within her field. Yeah. And there is no way in hell that this man would have said this to a man in the same exact position at the same exact age as her. Mm-hmm. And she's also very beautiful and probably was further looked down upon because of that, in that she's presenting herself as this like beautiful young woman who is successful in her job. And they go, the only way that can add up, they meaning, freaking patriarchal men, they go, the only way that can add up is if she's had sex with somebody to get here.
Wow.
Ugh.
It also speaks to this good old boys club idea, right? That we talked about earlier. If a man walked into your office and he did not was not BFFs with the CEO or whatever, like he would be on his best behavior trying to land your sale. The fact though that he felt like he had this gig through relationship meant he could act out, if you will, or
he's not going to get in trouble with his buddy.
Yeah, it's like absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
The thing that I think grinds my gears the most about that.
What grinds your gears?
Knowing that this guy is probably the same exact type of guy who would be like, no, there's not a glass ceiling.
Yes. He'd be like, oh, I just met with a female executive. There's no glass ceiling. And it's like...
She had to sleep her way to get up there, but I don't see any problem with the way that women have to work to get into high positions.
Well, and here's
but then
the
they
thing.
also have the rhetoric of like, well, you should just work harder. You should just, put in the time.
Just, on your back. Like, put in the time on your back.
That is the thing.
Like, no.
On the one hand, they say like, oh, there's no glass ceiling. You just have to work hard. But then they also have the assumption, oh, if you got here, you must have exploited someone sexually in order to get here. It wasn't your hard work.
Joke or not, like the sentiment is there, and I'm sure his like, oh, it's just a joke. It's like, it is a joke, but you're actually pointing out like the fact that it's unusual for a woman that young to be in a position of power, and because it's unusual to you, you're pointing it out and making a joke about it. And the reason that it's unusual is because there's a glass ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's probably insecure, feels for some reason, like
he should feel insecure.
Yeah.
I walk into freaking meetings with men in power all the time, and it is intimidating. There are people who are in power and they're a different gender from you, and you feel like they don't understand your experience. And it happens all the time, so just get used to it, man. More women are going to step into power each and every day. We're stepping into politics. We're stepping into the work field. We're stepping into the church. And you're just going to have to deal with the fact that there are leaders that may not understand your experience as well as your buddy.
Yeah, we're coming for you. But, like, it's like this idea that, like, somehow a powerful woman, like, takes away from your masculinity somehow. It's that poverty mindset of, like, oh, like, if this woman's coming to power, like, there won't be room for the men anymore.
Right.
And they
but
make
where
these,
will I go?
Yeah, they make these jokes because they're fearful.
It's like, I was thinking the same thing. We're running out of space for men, honestly. We really need to make more space for men. That's the thing.
I think so. I think our buddy from my first video would agree.
Yeah.
He probably would.
Or my second video.
He's like, you know what? There's not really enough real estate here for me. I need more.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we need to just give everything over to the men. Let them handle it. They're smarter anyways. So,
do you guys watch Frick?
No,
What
I
is
don't
the
watch
name
Frick.
of the show? Rick and Morty at all?
No.
So there's an episode where they go to a different planet and they go to this beautiful, clean, happy, peaceful, equal opportunity city that is only filled with women. And when the boys are born, they're like, oh, it's a boy. And they shoot it out of this like outskirts of the city, and they're like, we send them outside to play. And then the men on the outside of the city are like absolute savages, and they just like are crazy. But it's like, it makes me think.
But they're having sex with the women? At some point, they must.
They send robots out to mate with the men.
Oh.
And then the robots
And then the robots get a condom with hot sauce.
Right.
And they take it and insert it into the women.
in their
And they
vaginas.
sue because the hot sauce,
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
invalidated the sperm.
But it's like kind of funny too, because it's like, oh yeah, that's how it would be if it was all women.
Although I would hope that women would actually not discriminate against men in that way.
They would create
But it would
space for
be
the men.
a fair and just equal society.
Yeah,
novel.
just as a default. I know there's a lot of rage happening here, but yes, like I think that is the goal across the board for like on our end, and I think from a lot of women's perspectives and a lot of social justice perspectives, the goal is not like to perform a coup and get rid of the men so that like other people can be in power.
Shoot them in a cannon.
The goal is just to like create enough space at the table so that all types of peoples can be represented. And that just means that there's not going to be 90% men and 10% minority. It means there's going to be like, 10% men and 10% everything else.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you have less opportunity. That just means the market or whatever is not oversaturated with people that just look like you.
Yeah.
So you actually have to be more confident and secure.
You got to work a little bit harder. You got to like go for what you want. You don't just get life handed to you. Yeah. And this is the most important part. You enter into a society that is more whole. You raise your children in a society where more people are appreciated and represented. And it's just a better world and a better future for everybody. So that is the benefit.
That is it.
All right, ladies, the time for voting has come.
Oh, yes.
I've thought about this and made this up on the fly as we have been discussing things. I think we should each open our notes app and go to the writing feature and write the name of who we are voting for, and we will reveal all at once so that it is a blind vote.
And to review, Emma shared a lovely TikTok with us of a girl being accused of
sleeping her way to the top as a powerful executive in her company.
Kellyanne shared a, trying to remember,
video about pro-choice.
Yes,
and
from the guy from Sleeping with Jane. No.
Jane the Virgin.
Jane the Virgin. And I shared, what did I share? I shared,
you shared
men like their mothers.
Yes, the mothers.
Yeah.
Yes. The mothers.
The get like love your woman so well that she won't want to be like your mother or whatever the freaking load of
Don't
crap
let your
that
woman
was.
like be like your mother, as if being a mother is an insult.
And remember, ladies, you cannot vote for yourself. You must vote for one of the other two women here at the table, your fellow contestants. Hopefully we don't have a three-way tie.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, we can't vote for ourselves.
No, we could, if we each voted for a different person.
Oh, I think that's
we would
ideal.
have a three-way tie.
I think that's ideal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, are you ladies ready? Did you write down your response?
I did.
Okay,
3, 2, 1.
What are they?
Oh!
The votes have been counted. Emma is the winner. That's me.
You just announced yourself.
I know. I didn't know what to do. I got overwhelmed.
It's the final
For the record.
countdown.
You can't see this in the audio version, but I'm fist pumping into the air.
My friends.
For the record, so that we have full transparency in the vote, since no one could see that, Kelly voted for
Emma.
Kellyanne voted for Emma. And Emma, myself, voted for Kelly.
Aww.
And so, I'm sorry, Kellyanne, you were a
No
great
one
competitor.
liked my abortion video.
I can't believe no one liked my abortion video.
You put up a really great fight today.
Thank you.
Were marvelous
Thank you.
as a contender, and I appreciate you coming to the field.
Thank you.
Better luck next time.
Here's the thing about abortion. I'm just kidding.
Let's just go.
But while we're talking about it.
Kelly, thank you for your competition here today. You were a fierce and fiery competitor.
Thank you, Emma.
And I so value
you are truly
bringing
worthy
your best.
of winning this game that you made up on the fly.
Well, yes, obviously it was rigged for me. I made it up. I made it so that I would win. The end. That's not true. I did not rig it.
No, she did.
So that was the Feminist Rage social media showdown.
Hey.
I can't believe I remembered that whole title.
I was
you're
like, what did we
impressive.
decide the name of this was?
We didn't really decide. It's just this is what came out.
Point being, there's a lot of bullshit out there on the internet, people, for you to consume. And what is important is to seek out a variety of perspectives so that you don't blindly follow an Instagram account that sounds good in the moment to you, but are able to receive a wide diversity of perspectives. So when you get something like, find a woman who doesn't sound like your mother post, you're thinking, wait a second, I love my mother. Or maybe you don't. But I don't think mothers are bad. My wife is a mother. I don't want to insult her.
Yeah.
And why is being a mother an insult in the first place?
Yeah.
And so that's all I have to say. When it comes to being a good feminist, which I think a lot of you are, most of you, all of you, honestly, If you're listening to this podcast, I label you a feminist.
Why else would
Whether you
listen?
like it or not.
They do not give consent for that. I'll tell you what.
But yeah, being a good feminist means being open-minded and not becoming blind to, false patriarchal
Ideals.
I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
I think that is a great rumination about this very silly, fun episode that we just recorded, is that at the end of the day, have critical thinking when you are exploring social media and consider the things that the people you follow say and whether or not those things are what you agree with, or if you just agree with them because they have a platform. That is definitely a valuable thing to consider. And also, we want to spread a little bit of feminist love in the midst of the feminist hate that we just explored today. So, thank you, ladies, for competing.
You're welcome.
Supreme woman being.
I trained for this.
I will have a crown in the next episode.
Hey, that wasn't in the original agreement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
well,
wasn't in the
I make the
contract.
rules. I'm the judge. I'm the rule host. I'm everything. I won. So you can't stop me.
That also was not in the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like
rules?
equality.
So that is equality, is me being over everybody else. No. All right.
Relatable.
Woman beings, let us know what you thought of this new format of an episode. We definitely had a rip-roaring good time, and we thoroughly enjoyed finding these posts and, commiserating over these posts.
I mean, where else are you going to talk about hot sauce and a condom and
Right.
Exactly. Where else can you get this kind of content? Hot sauce and condoms, abortion, sexism.
all your favorite topics?
I know, I just got heavier as it went along. And we would love for you to send us posts that enrage you. We would love to be enraged. Honestly, most of our Instagram group chat that we have with one another is just sending things that make us furious back and forth to one another. So this was a very apt type of episode for us to do. And we are obviously, avid internet users as we live here on the internet with you guys, the woman beings. So, all that to say, we would love if you could use your internet skills to follow us on YouTube, on Instagram at Woman Being Podcast. We have our website, womanbeingcommunity.com. Cam. We are also on various podcast platforms, and we would really, really appreciate it if you could leave us a review. Leave a review talking about how much fun you had listening to this episode. Leave a review talking about all the insight you gained from our various feminist rants, either within this episode or any of our other episodes. We would love to hear what you think, and that will help other people find this and will help other people be enlightened to the horrors of some of the corners of social media as we have been today. Is there anything else that we need to say to the people?
I think that is it.
I think that is it.
Just our basic default disclaimer that, don't cancel us.
As we say in every episode, don't cancel us. We just are saying that for the first time here today. And also I would encourage you to not go find the social media accounts that we just looked at and send them a ton of hate or something. We are not looking to bully people. We are looking to, think critically about the things that they're saying and discuss them and, yes, in some ways poke fun, but also give a rebuttal. So, anyways, woman beings, hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your day, whatever time of day you're listening or watching this. We will see you guys next week with another fiery episode of the Woman Being Podcast. Catch you later.
Bye.